Today we're going to take a look at a build of Grolnok the Omnivore. Grolnok costs blue, green, and 2 generic to cast for a legendary frog creature. It is a 3/3. Whenever a frog you control attacks, you mill 3 cards. Whenever a permanent card is put in your graveyard from your library, exile it with a crow counter. You may play lands and cast spells from among cards you own in exile with crow counters on them. So our goal is to attack with Grolnok and get things in our graveyard quickly and then be able to get them back and assemble our combo. Let's take a look at how this deck functions because it is a very unique build with this Simic commander. We run 1 battle. Of course, we're running Invasion of Ikoria to get something out of our graveyard or our library and put it onto the battlefield. The battle part of it, the backside of it, really doesn't matter for us, but we're using it as a way to tutor in case something ends up in our graveyard before we have Grolnok and a crow counter on it. We run Oko to create a food token. It could be helpful for us, maybe, but really we're not really running it for that. We're running it for the +1 to elk something. Creatures are kind of light in this deck. We do run Allosaurus Shepherd to make something that is green uncounterable. The Lighted Halfling is a nice new addition that we got. Thank you to Lord of the Rings. Cephalid Illusionist makes it hard for our opponents to get rid of it, but the nice part is we can target it on purpose so that we are milling cards in our graveyard with crook counters then if our commander is out. Gilded Drake is here so we can steal something. Hermit Druid is part of our combo piece, but it also allows us to reveal cards if we generate a lot of mana, get them into our graveyard with croak counters. That is part of our combo with our commander. Of course, Phantasmal Image to copy something. Thassa's Oracle is one of our win cons, and if we use our commander and we get it in our bin, we can get it back out very easily. Brazen Borrower is a nice 2-for-1 card because we can cast the instant side Petty Theft and return something, or we can cast the actual Brazen Borrower creature. Endurance is good for us or our opponents because if our opponents are going to win with a Thassa's Oracle combo and they have a couple cards in their graveyard, if we endurance them in response to the Thassa's Oracle trigger, then they might end up with 3, 4, 5, whatever cards in their library then, and don't actually win with the Thassa's Oracle trigger. Ewit is to get something back out of our graveyard. Spellseeker helps us get something that we need. And Leveler is a nice little piece of spicy tech because if we end up milling Leveler and either have Thassa's Oracle in hand or in our graveyard as well with crow counters, we play the Leveler out of our graveyard, then we go ahead and remove our library from the game and drop a Thassa's Oracle and win the game. So Leveler is actually one of our combo pieces. It's not what you would expect to see in this deck. We do run a couple pieces of spicy tech to kind of catch our opponents off guard, but it is a fun little piece that leads to us winning if we get it in our bin and play it. Sorceries are mainly tutors or ways of getting things. So of course we're going to run Sylvan Tutor, and we're going to run Finale, Merchant Scroll, all the things. Traumatize is kind of fun for us because we can use it on ourselves, of course, to get most of our graveyard in our bin and speed things along. If we really need to, we could use this on an opponent. Same thing with Cut Your Losses. We can use it on ourselves, that's our goal, so that we get most of our cards in our library and speed things along, but we could use this on an opponent if we're at that point that we need to. Instances are kind of the typical instances that you would expect in a deck like this. We're running Counter Magic, Tutors, things like that. Return to Earth is kind of iffy. It is very selective to what we can do. We can destroy an artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. So if we're playing against Big Bird, this is great for us, get rid of that nasty thing, but it's kind of iffy whether or not we're going to keep it. We've been playing around with it and we've had some good success with it. Winds of Abandon is nice because we can use it on our opponent's thing or we can use it on our illusionist. Artifacts are pretty typical. We are running a couple spicy pieces though. We're running Defense Grid to make it so that on our turn, hopefully, it's making it more difficult for our opponents to counter stuff, and then what's hopefully good is then their free counters won't work. They'll have to spend mana or have mana available. Grim Monolith just adds a bunch of mana. Lightning Greaves gives our commander Hest and gives it Shroud, hopefully so that we have a little bit of protection. Normally we wouldn't really play Lightning Greaves, but our commander is going to be a huge target for us, and we need it to be here because all the things that are exiled with croak counters, we can't get them back without our commander. So the goal is drop our commander pretty quickly and then get the lightning greaves on there, hopefully to give it a little bit of protection so we don't lose it. The One Ring, just an auto include at this point. Of course, we're going to run it. Enchantments, we do run things like exploration to play additional lands so we can get things going and really ramp. And then we're running some enchantments to stop things like witness protection. We can put it on something of our creatures that is on our opponent's side. Dress down, we can drop this down in response to something happening, making it lose all abilities that they're going to have at that turn. Mystic Subdual, same type of thing as witness protection. We do run Sylvan Library to draw through and get some additional cards. And Defense of the Heart is another piece of spicy tech. The nice thing about Defense of the Heart is it's not going to take much. It's only going to take 3 or more creatures on our opponent's side, and then Defense of the Heart pops off. So if they don't remove Defense of the Heart or counter it, when it pops off, there's really nothing that they can do at that point. Once we go searching, we're going to go search for possibly Leveler and Thassa's Oracle. Bring those two in, Leveler ETB, we remove our library, Thassa's Oracle ETB, we win the game. So this is kind of spicy. Our opponents are going to like scratch their head a little bit. They might guess that we're grabbing Thassa's Oracle, but then the other creature, they would not expect us to grab Leveler, and that's exactly why we do this. Our lands are pretty typical. We do run Besenju because it's either a land or a piece of removal. The same thing is true for Otawara. It's a land or a piece of removal. And then Mystic Sanctuary, if we play it and have 3 or more islands, we can get something back out of our graveyard and put it back on top. Cavern of Souls is here, and generally speaking, we're going to name Frog to make our commander uncountable, but we might name something else, who knows. But generally it is Frog. If you have any experience playing Grolnok, or have any other suggestions for cards that we didn't think of here, we would love to hear that in the comments below. We love feedback. If you have played against it or played with Grolnok, let us know how it's worked out for you. This is a very interesting deck, and we would love to hear how it's played out for others.